they had COVID screening to get into the con, and people who were vaccinated were able to go in with their ID and their vaccination card. If you're not vaccinated or you didn't have your vaccination card with you, then you go to the side and take a rapid COVID test, and that went pretty quickly.
For the most part, they kind of just let everyone in without too much of a hassle, which I think is kind of the right call. They're complying with the regulations that they're, supposed to comply with, and it seemed like other than that, it was fine. So I mean, I didn't have anyone, hold me against the wall and ask to see, proof of vaccination.
Fit all your papers. What did you think? I got some cool videos of some panels that were going on.
Big question. So right now there's this trend of old actors coming back and revising their movies. For example, the new Flash movie.
I just said old. You're about to get beat up. He didn't say antique though. He didn't say antique. It don't matter. Old, antique.
Just originals. All right, originals.
All right.
So originals are coming back, rewriting the roles. Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman. There's rumors of the Spider-Man coming back in this new Spider movie. If given the chance, would you guys ever come back and just come back as the Power Rangers in a future film or future TV show ever again? If given the opportunity.
Well, he can fit in spandex, and I can too. But the question is, if.
Yes,
and
if it was
Hasbro should have done something like Cobra Kai, and it could have handled the whole situation, but they didn't. So there's a lot of rumors out there. It has to be good. It don't have to be something. Dave was writing something that I think Hasbro should really look at that involves some of the originals. And there's no better person to write a story than the guy coming from inside the story. And so that's what, I don't know if he's working on, he better put me in there, but what I'm saying is, that's what he would tell me and talk about. I don't know if that's still going or.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I've been developing a 30-year reunion series. It's a limited series.
What about from other things aside from Star Wars? Any other merch or pieces that have popped up that you're like, I had to get this?
Oh gosh.
Well, for me, it took me a month and a half, 2 months, maybe even longer than that, to get the package Moff Gideon T-shirt and pop doll in my size. Nice. Everybody a medium in the world. It took me about 3 or 4 months to find that, and I love that. And
I got a Power Ranger panel, and I got Ming-Na Wen and Giancarlo Esposito doing a little bit of their Mandalorian, just a small bit of it. It was cool that those guys were there, and I really liked that. It's kind of like the hall type stuff was in the open. Right. Those things were cool. You have any thoughts on that?
Oh, it was great. I feel like this is something they've kind of done at all the LA Comic Cons, dating back to when it was Stanley's Comikaze. Having that stage right in the center of the hall, it kind of it brings everything together in a really cool way. It makes it feel like, everyone's included in these panels. It's not like Comic-Con where you have to go and miss out on 6 hours of your day standing in line to get, an hour-long panel in some room somewhere. It felt like very community-based, and you could come and go as you please. There was no real commitment to being there, and the guests they had on were great. It wasn't like you only got, your C, D tier type people. They had all the A-listers out there as well.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. So vendors, there's quite a bit of vendors roaming around in this convention. Not roaming around, but in place at this convention. It was, at first sight, when I was walking around and checking stuff out, I'm like, wow, there's a lot more things, a lot more purchasing power here than I was expecting there to be. But it wasn't on par with previous cons. One of the things I was disappointed with, and it's funny because I haven't bought anything from this place before, but the only thing I really bought at this con was some clothing for my family. I didn't really have the budget because of the holidays and whatnot, and the fact that we're trying to get a house coming up. I didn't have the budget to go and spend like you usually would at a convention. But I was looking for that big tower of like t-shirts and sweaters and whatnot. It's always in every convention. And they've always got that. You can walk inside and it's almost like a building that's made of t-shirts and sweaters and onesies and all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to find that spot this time and I couldn't find it. So that was one thing that I was a little bummed about with the vendors. What were your thoughts on the vendors?
Oh, they were great, man. I picked up a Kang shirt. Shout out Revenge of the Nerd. Good shit over there. I picked up a few different things. Got some wrestling bandanas. That's pretty dope. It's like a little... dude, the vendors were great. There was all sorts of great stuff to get. Lots of like comic related stuff, which was cool. But there was also really interesting, like almost stuff that you wouldn't expect to find at a con, like different types of, let's say, exotic foods, niche, like, I don't know if you'd consider them spiritual items, but like rocks and geodes and cool wood carved in like interesting patterns. There was a lot of that kind of stuff, which I thought was interesting, that they had made some sort of connection with the nerd culture. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I also saw some kind of like handcrafted type stuff, like purses with like a nerd theme. And it was funny because two of the booths that were like handcrafted almost felt like swap meet-ish, because it was like a Mexican family doing it. They had a really strong accent, and like some Chinese ladies who, like knew how to count and about money and Spider-Man good, and it was like very limited, but they had some cool stuff in their booth. So awesome. It was interesting.
That's cool. Yeah, I was really happy with the vendors, and I felt like there was a lot of creators that had like booths, not just necessarily like artist alley type tables.
Yeah, that was cool. So moving on to Artist Alley, what are your thoughts on the Artist Alley they were able to put together? There wasn't a lot of the normal mainstay Southern California artists that I've come to know, and it's almost like when I go there, it's like a reunion for me. I go and say what's up to like Todd Knock and Norm Ratman and Carl Allstetter and Locke Lemon, all those guys who I usually end up spending a couple hours just shooting the breeze with when I go to these cons. They were still able to pull a decent Artist Alley together. What were your highlights?
David Nakamura. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I seem to always mess that one up. He was great. Got to talk with him for a little while. He did a really cool little Spider-Man sketch for me. They also had Tony Fleeces of the Stray Dogs fame. I know he's hot right now. Everybody wants the Stray Dogs. So it was nice talking with him. Matt the Bat Banning, always a SoCal staple, but apparently he moved out of the area, so we may not see him as often. It was a lot smaller this year than in years past, as far as number of artists.
Yeah, and it seemed like they had a lot of boutique-y things kind of sprinkled into Artist Alley, where when I was walking through there, there'd be an artist, and then there'd be like somebody selling pins or something, and I'd be like, did I stumble out of Artist Alley? And I'd take a couple more steps and there'd be like another artist. It seemed like that might have been something that they had trouble filling, and they just kind of brought in random other people to vend their wares.
Definitely. Well, I noticed as the weekend progressed, I showed up late Friday night, and kind of as things were winding down, and there was a few, I'm not going to say a lot, but there was a few empty tables and booths and that kind of thing. But by Saturday morning, they had filled them all in with, different vendors. So I don't know if it was a wait list thing, or they were just like, hey guys, you can spread out a little bit more if you want. But the people that didn't show, for whatever reason, were quickly replaced. So the pins could have been something like that, like an artist no-show.
Yeah, that's cool. And a lot of times these guys, if they get a day's notice, they can probably bring more stuff out and maybe spread their own little area out to, use the table next to them or something. I remember Carl doing that a few years back. There's also, what Comic-Con it is complete without people roaming around and all of their cool cosplay. And I'm sure a lot of those people have. There was lots of things. Wasn't a lot of people. How do I say this? Roaming around all day with the same costume. There was a few of those people, but it seemed like there's probably a lot of creative people in that sense. They had like their hose kinked, and they just they unkinked the hose, and they were probably had a trunk somewhere full of costumes, and they would go and run and be Spider-Man, and then they would go run back and be Dr. Octopus. It seemed like, did you see the dude with the balloons on himself, and he was like this giant robot dude?
Yeah, man, that guy was wild looking. I heard him coming before I saw him. You just hear the balloon squeak. Yeah,
think about the shelf life on that, right? Like, you can't have made that a couple days ago. You got to be out there cramming before the exam, blowing up balloons.
Right.
Imagine how many are popping as they're doing it. That had been interesting for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw some good stuff. Some of the highlights is the dude dressed up in the Slave Leia outfit.
There was a lot of dude Slave Leias, each hairy last.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. Catching up with you guys. Old friends I haven't seen for a couple of years and whatnot. It was cool to finally see James again.
Yeah.
It was it was cool to meet the newest member of the Comikaze, Hose B.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we took a vote, and we decided to replace Jose. So, we look forward to working with the new caveman.
These are jokes, but
yes,
it was funny. He didn't even get the joke.
I know.
He didn't even get the troll, so that was a sadly wasted troll.
All right,
cool. What else you got?
I don't know, man. We got all sorts of stickers and little trinkets and all this and that. I'm not going to waste everyone's time showing off all the little stuff, but normal con wear, and it feels like cons are back after the really sad special edition Comic-Con.
How was that?
It was so small. It was awful. It was
worse than Long Beach.
Familiar with Frankenson's collectible show, but it's basically like a comic pop type swap meet, and that's pretty much what this special edition Comic-Con was. Yeah, so it was really nice, and there was no crowd. It felt like a ghost town. So coming to this one, being in LA, seeing all the people here and or there and just dressed up and stoked and interacting, it felt like normal. And it felt good, so I was really happy.
Yeah, it was nice. It felt like there was a decent crowd there, but I didn't get any. The masks help with the nerd body odor as you're running through the crowds and whatnot, especially towards the end of the evening. So that was cool. It did. I think it enhanced some of the cosplay because sometimes people got the. You can fill in what you think Captain America should look like with your imagination when they have the mask on, and a lot of people having their mug covered up is a good thing. So it helped out a lot. It was good. It was good to hang out. Good to get out. Feels like conventions are back. So we'll see how it ends up in Ontario when you guys have your booth. What are you going to be? Are you just going to be peddling your wares there, or are you going to be doing any comic-y, poppy, vendor type stuff there?
I'm mainly going to have original art for sale. We also will have shirts, stickers, maybe some prints. We'll see about those. We're kind of waiting on the mail, as many people are. So we'll see if they get here in time. But if they do, we'll have some prints. We're also going to have a whole whole another booth next door with comics, games, Pokemon cards, everything, you know, the nerd in your life could want. And, you know, a week before Christmas, you might want to stop by and get something.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for helping me co-host this LA Comic-Con special, Lego, and hopefully we can do some more of these things this next year. Hopefully this catches some buzz and we can get these press passes more often. That'd be nice to. It was a lot easier to do this than it was going through the rigmarole of buying passes and all that stuff. So, and we're able to just, our channel's got enough get up and go now to where we can actually apply the normal way. I've gotten press passes previously, but it's always been through like a hookup of a friend that I know that's got the convention going on. So this was actually, you know, based on legit, like we're strangers and we got the merit to do it. So that was cool. We do need to come up with official names and whatnot for the, I think for the channel, so that we're not crossing the streams.
I call it CEO. Haha.
Yeah, too late, man. We can give you some kind of art typed themed
Master of thumbnails.
Master of thumbnails. Yeah, that's right. And we'll figure it out. All right, brother. Thanks for joining me, man. And we'll see you later on the live stream, dude.
All right, sounds great.
All right, man.